On today's Locked On Thunder podcast, we're going to dive into the Oklahoma City Thunder loss to the Washington Wizards, preview the game coming up against the Houston Rockets. SGA made his miraculous return, an injury update on Kenrich Williams, and so much more. All coming up on the Locked On Thunder podcast, on the Locked On Podcast Network, your teams every day.
You are Locked On Thunder, your daily Oklahoma City Thunder podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Let's get it going on Locked On Thunder podcast, on the Locked On Podcast Network, your teams every day. I am your host, Rylan Stiles. You can follow me on Twitter at Rylan_Stiles. You can follow the show on Twitter at LO Thunderpod. Email the show, lothunderpod@gmail.com. Call into the show 405-362-7128. On today's show, brought to you by PrizePicks. We're going to dive into the Oklahoma City Thunder loss to the Washington Wizards, talk about the game tonight against the Houston Rockets, an injury update, and a possible SGA return, a great one that we saw against Washington, an injury update on Kenrich Williams. So much more to talk about today on this podcast brought to you by PrizePicks. It is incredible, so check it out at prizepicks.com using the code NBA, or go to your app store and download the app for free. PrizePicks is a daily fantasy sport app made easy. PrizePick.com or the PrizePick app, anywhere you get your apps from. And thank you for making Locked On Thunder your first listen every single morning, every single day. We're here for you talking Thunder basketball. So subscribe for free on all platforms, including on YouTube, so you never miss an episode. It's all free every single day. We're here for you talking Thunder basketball on the Locked On Podcast Network, which, as you wake up this morning and you head to work in Oklahoma, a lot of news breaking around the OU football program. Do not forget to also check out Locked On Sooners for their coverage. John does a great job over there, Locked On Sooners, getting you up to date on the Lincoln Riley saga, recapping Bedlam. And if you're an OSU fan, just loving your weekend right now that you just had, your holiday weekend, which was incredible, and getting prepared for the Big 12 title, go check out Locked On Pokes as well, because they have you covered over there for the Pokes, for the Sooners, all encompassing here on the Locked On Podcast Network across Oklahoma and across the world. So subscribe for free on all platforms to all of the shows that you love. The game overview for the game against the Washington Wizards was just simply incredible, because Shai returned. SGA was back after the ankle injury. Mark had his baby, was back on the sidelines over this last week for the homestand. It was great to see him back there. Obviously, it's always great to have your head coach there, but it's also, of course, great that his wife and his child are doing great. They named this kid AJ, although they did throw around the names Dort and Poku, which was, of course, a funny joke for all of us at home. Aaron Wiggins was inactive tonight due to the fact that the team did not want to waste a day on his two-way deal, which makes sense. Mark mentioned that it's because they've played him a lot recently, and they knew that they were not going to play him on Friday. Just too many minutes on his body to kind of ramp up on. So they were going to take him out of the rotation anyway. So making him inactive allows them to save those days. If you don't know, on the two-way contract, you have 50 game days. Now, this is different from Lou Dort's two-way contract. This is actually much better for the two-way players themselves. With Lou Dort, it was counted by days. Days you were with the Thunder. No matter if that was film sessions or practices, if you were with the Thunder, that day counts against you. With the new arrangement, which happened at the bubble and has really carried through since then, on a two-way deal, the only days that are against you are literal game days. So if you're on the active roster, inactive for that game, that counts against those 50-day marks and not just practices. So they can practice them with the team as they want to, which made Lou Dort's rookie season that much more impressive, because he did not get to practice with the team. He just only could play. So he didn't waste his days, and he was still that good and that incredible. But I think it's a great move to manage these days wisely. Of course, they've not reused very many or any of Paul Watson Jr.'s days, maybe a few here and there. But of course, Wiggins needed his days kind of reset a bit, and they knew he wanted to get him rest, so they did not make him active tonight. Now, Isaiah Roby, Theo Maldon, Vit, and Gabriel Deck all did not play as coach's decisions. Derek Favors did not start tonight and only played 9 minutes. And the starters were SGA, Lou Dort, Josh Giddey, Darius Baisley, JRE. Washington started Spencer Dinwiddie, Bradley Beal, KCP, Kyle Kuzma, and Daniel Gafford. So the Washington Wizards won this game 101-99. The Thunder lose their 5th straight game, and they're now 3-7 in their last 10. Oklahoma City is only 1 game above the Spurs and the Pelicans, and only 3 games above the Houston Rockets, who they play twice, tonight on Monday and on Wednesday. A lot can change over this next week, good or bad. The Thunder in this game once led by 10. That was also Washington's largest lead. They, of course, traded the lead 3 times and were tied 5 times. And this game was as close as the scoreboard indicated. It was a very fun, competitive, back-and-forth game. And I think that as we worry about the future, right, when can this team win a title? When can this team make a big trade? When can this team steal the headlines that OU stole this weekend? Only, of course, hopefully for a better reason. It's important to sit back, take a deep breath, and remember how important it is to simply be entertaining, because this is entertainment after all. And I know that this is all about championships. It's a business. It's a cold-hearted thing. And everyone who enjoys sports is very competitive in some way. It's why you enjoy competition. But one of the main components of all of this is that the Thunder, as an entity, don't owe us championships. They owe us entertainment. They owe us something to rally behind and to support and to kind of bring us all together. And that's what they're doing this year. This is a fun, entertaining team despite the record. And so that's awesome. I mean, the Kings, their fans do not see any entertainment night in, night out. The Thunder do. So entertainment factor wise, this team's really good. Talent wise, they're just really young. And when you're young, you're not going to win these close games. But it does deserve to be noted how important it is that this team is competitive and entertaining, because that's half the battle. And now you can also look past that and say the winning should come as well. Barring anything dramatic happening, you have all the draft capital in the world. You have all the money in the world in terms of the salary cap. And you have a really good GM by all accounts. Most would argue the best in the sport, or top 5 or top 2 or whatever you want to put the caveat on him. He's not past that elite threshold. He is elite and is going to stay elite. Sam Presti. So the fact that they already have the entertainment aspect of it should go a long way for fans, because last year there was moments where it wasn't entertaining and it was not fun to watch a team, and it did not provide enjoyment night in and night out. But this year, you're really looking forward to each and every game that this team plays, and you're getting back into the swing of counting down the moments until the Thunder play again. And so that's an incredible luxury to have, because a lot of sport fans and a lot of fans of the NBA do not get that right now. But 15 second chance points in this game for OKC, 11 for Washington. Oklahoma City Thunder actually won the points in the paint battle, 48-44. Fast break points went to Washington 4-2. Really, the Washington did a great job of slowing this game down. I've said it before. The way this team wins games in Oklahoma City is that they move and go up tempo and push the pace, and they go in transition. And whenever they lose the second chance, whenever they lose the fast break point opportunity, when they lose the transition, kind of mode, they lose games. And Washington, while they did win the fast break point opportunity, there was only 4 of them for Washington and 2 of them for Oklahoma City. They slowed this game down a lot, which created some uncomfortability for Oklahoma City and allowed them to pull away at the end. Washington shot 48% from the floor. OKC shot 40% from the floor. Washington shot 34% from deep. OKC shot 33% from deep. Washington made all their free throws, and Oklahoma City only made 85% of their free throws. Washington did a great job of winning this game and closing this game out. The Thunder did not. The Thunder had mishaps on the stretch, like the SGA running down the floor before Mark called the timeout, so you don't get to advance the ball. That's just things that work out with time, and that work out with experience, and that work out whenever you're not kind of overexcited or over the line, right? And Mark did a great job taking one on the chin for his players, saying that he tells his players, just run, and if I want the timeout, I'll stop you, just run. And so he said it's all on him. He was late getting the timeout in. The ref was also late granting Mark the timeout. Of course, you have to know there that Mark's going to want a timeout whenever they get the rebound. But at the end of the day, it's those mistakes that happen. It doesn't matter who you put them on. It's just kind of like a team rebound happens. It's like a team youth, right, in the category. How'd you lose this game? Team youth, young coach, young core players. Mistakes happened down the stretch, and they lost. It wasn't anything bad. It wasn't anything embarrassing. It wasn't anything frustrating. It was youth. It was things that the next year, the year after that, and in this coming future, you expect to be worked out. And when those things do get worked out, well, then you win these close games. When you win these close games, your record flips on its head, and then you become a really good team. So I think that this game was very fun, very entertaining, and something that you should take joy in. Take joy in the fact that you had the chance to see an SGA runner go in and out from distance that could have won you this game. I mean, SGA shot a running floater three from beyond the arc. It circled the bowl and doesn't drop. If that shot drops, it's one of the best buzzer beaters ever in Thunder history, and it's like this incredible moment, but it didn't drop. And that's how basketball goes. That's the line. You mix in the way balls bounce, you mixed in the youth, and you have a recipe for teams just not having things go their way at the end of the game. Because this game could have easily gone their way had the ball tilted differently on the rim. Even with all the youth and experience and things like that come with this season. Very fun game, very fun team. But before we get into the individual performances on this team, I want to talk about our good friends over at PrizePicks. PrizePicks is incredible. It's the best NBA daily fantasy prop game on the market. PrizePicks offers NBA props and more of them than any other daily fantasy prop operator. Offers all the superstar players as well as bench players, only recording a handful of minutes. PrizePicks offers all the props you can think of, even from points to turnovers to assists and across sports as well. All of my users that deposit and use the code NBA will receive 100% instant deposit match guaranteed, up to $100. So use the code NBA, and every user will get 100% instant deposit match up to $100. You just pick 2 to 5 players and the over-under on their projections, and you can win up to 10%, or I should say 10 times on every entry. It's you versus the projected numbers. Not you versus somebody else, just the numbers. It is incredibly fun. You can also mix sport entries. I've thought about that before. You can take the over on LeBron James combined with the under on Patrick Mahomes in the same entry. Use your award-winning app from the App Store or Google Play Store, or go to PrizePicks.com. It's easy. You can make your entries in 60 seconds or less. It's incredible. PrizePicks is safe and offers fast withdrawals. So do not hesitate. Check out PrizePicks.com, use the code NBA, and go to your App Store and download the app today. PrizePicks is the daily fantasy sports made easy. What's here right now? About our good friends over at DirecTV. Listen, does this sound familiar to you? You've got one device that lets you catch the game live, another that lets you stream your favorite shows. You're watching sport highlights on your phone. You've got your neighbors, best friends, log in for all the good stuff. Well, I want to tell you a simple way to get your entertainment together that you love without the hassle. And that great way is finally here to get that TV together. It's called the DirecTV Stream. It brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, so you can watch your favorite sports, movies, shows, all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes and no need to buy another device ever again. And best of all, there's no annual contracts. So get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directtv.com. That's directtv.com. Compatible devices required. Content varies by package. We are back on the Locked On Thunder podcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your teams every day. Again, thank you for making Locked On Thunder your first listen every single day, every single morning. We're here for you, talking Thunder basketball. And do not forget, subscribe for free on all platforms, including on YouTube and every other platform that you have, Apple, Spotify, Google, whatever you have. Subscribe for free on all platforms so that we can hear me talk about Thunder basketball every single day. We're here every single day for you, talking Thunder basketball. And we also cover the NBA, the NFL, the MLB, and college sports. So again, check out Locked On Sooners and Locked On Pokes if you are a big fan of OU and OSU. Of course, we also have Locked On Pac-12 and Locked On Big 12 if you want to get info on the national scope of the sport. So SGA makes his big return, and he looked a lot better after rest. He had a few great, just nasty finishes at the rim, 15 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, a steal, a block, 1 turnover, and 1 foul. Big deal here. SGA and Josh Giddey had typically been getting like 3 turnovers a game, it would feel like. And in this game, 1 for Josh Giddey, 1 for SGA. And seeing your lead guards clean that category up, even as young as they are, even with the surroundings that they have with the spacing and the quality of players that they're playing with, seeing them clean that up already is certainly a welcome sign. I think that SGA looked like the player you hoped he looked like. Of course, he still did not have his A game from three. He didn't make a three tonight going over 4, but he was there. He was good after his, of course, absence from the ankle injury. I think that everyone has to stop having PTSD from SGA. There was so many jokes made and so many false reports out there that the Thunder sat down SGA for the entire season last year because they were tanking and not because he was legitimately hurt. I think that that's created some PTSD from Thunder fans that anytime his name's on the injury report, it's not just a casual ankle sprain or a bump and a bruise. He's going to be done for the whole year because this evil Thunder team is tanking and they don't want us to have nice things. That's not the case. That's not the case last year. Last year, the Thunder just had to sit him because he was hurt. He didn't get to play for Team Canada, something that he's expressed he wanted to do for years. Something that after the season was over, at the exit interview, he said he wants to do if he's 100%. If he can get back to 100%, which he said he was not at the exit interview, then he would play for Team Canada. Well, Team Canada came and went and he didn't play, so obviously at the time he would have to play, he was not 100%. That's it. End of story on SGA's injury history. End of story. And so when he has an ankle injury, you don't have to go into mass hysteria that he's not going to play again. And so SGA in this game was originally rolled out at the start of the morning, but then he progressed later on in the day and was upgraded to available. And he got to play and he got to start and he got to play in 34 minutes. I mean, just his normal workload. He averages 34.9 minutes per game. He played in 34 minutes, started this ball game, and had a chance at the end to win this contest. Don't need to freak out every time SGA is on that injury report. Josh Giddey, his backcourt meet was fun. It was awesome. 28 minutes, 33% from the floor, 0 for 2 from 3. The shooting splits are not going to be there this year. I said that at the beginning of the season. I said that in the preseason. When you think about Josh Giddey and his all rookie first team aspect, it's going to be because he's a compiler of total team stats and total stats overall, not because of his shooting splits. I think that his shooting splits should not be held against him right now at this point of his career, at this point of anybody's career, as players still try to figure out how to simply play within the NBA, much less try to figure out how to shoot the ball efficiently and take better shot selections and things like that. So he's going to compile a lot of stats. He's going to compile enough counting stats to where it gets him where he wants to be at the end of the year in terms of these all-rookie teams. But as a totality of this game, 11 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, only 1 turnover, and a steal in this game. He made an impact, and he helped you in a big way to win this game and beat the Wizards and to keep you in this game down the stretch. I think that Mark's talked about staggering him and SGA at that point guard spot. We'll talk about this more later on this week, but it's a great thing. It happens with every great guard, kind of pairing. You see it with Washington with Spencer Dinwiddie and Bradley Beal. You see it everywhere around the NBA. Of course, you saw it a ton with the Chris Paul, James Harden pairing. It is smart when you have these two guys. Now, they also have to coexist together, and everyone has said it's going to happen. The players have said it. SGA and Josh Giddey have said it. Sam Presti said it. Mark has said it. I've prognosticated it will happen. So like everyone from media to fans to players to coaches to GMs have all said that they think that SGA and Josh Giddey can mesh. That's going to happen, but staggering them helps the team in the long run. And I think that that's where you're going to see this team start winning more if they do that. I think that the staggering thing is truly great for winning games, especially right now. It'll be good for winning games long-term as well, but right now, to help this team elongate its depth and get better as a whole, they would stagger the minutes and they would keep these guys on the floor as much as possible, at least one of them on the floor at all times if possible. So we'll see if they truly follow through with it, because that's a big step to me towards winning games. I'm not saying this team's not going to try. I'm not saying that the team's not going to tank or is trying for the playoffs or is trying to win games. I'm just saying if you truly do stagger these two players, that's a huge step in bettering your team, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Like, obviously, anyone can be wrong whenever they're predicting sports. But I think that if you do stagger these two minutes for these two guys, the lineups you can create are better than what you're seeing right now. It can get you those wins down the stretch of games. We'll talk more about this game, especially Lou Dort's offensive production coming up. But first, I want to say right now, we're good friends over at Built Bar. Built Bar is a fantastic protein bar that tastes just like a candy bar. Go to BuiltBar.com, use the promo code LOCKED15, get 15% off your next order. Folks, it's the best day of the year. It's Cyber Monday, the only Monday that is worth getting out of bed. Built.com is the place to aim your mouse. Get 20% off today of every delicious and healthy Built Bar. That's 20% off site-wide. An even bigger discount on Built Boost, on broth, and Built Swag. The brand new Built Bar flavors have landed just in time for Cyber Monday, caramel almond, and it delivers everything that it's promised. A caramelized chocolate. It always is incredible. Almonds are always incredible. And it is delightful. So check that box as well. Be sure you get this before it's gone. Built Bar sent all of us on the network this new flavor ahead of time so we can test them out and tell you how good they are. Trust me, folks, they're great. 150 calories, 17 grams of protein. They're awesome. And also, there's a special new Built Bar Puffs flavor. White chocolate cheesecake. You know I love cheesecake. That Built Bar sounds incredible. 140 calories, 17 grams of protein. It is to die for. BuiltBar.com, 20% off everything in store. Head over there right now, BuiltBar.com, locked 20 before it's too late. So locked 20 for today only on Cyber Monday. Go check it out. Built.com, Cyber Monday, locked 20% off of your next order. Let's hear it right now. But your friends over at BetOnline.ag. BetOnline is your new online sportbook experts and the place to be for betting on sports. It is your number one spot for all of your sport action. They have a new website, new interface on your website, devices on your mobile devices, and on your computer. Sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on the promo code Locked On, and you're going to get that 50% welcome bonus to bet on. BetOnline.ag on college hoops, the NBA, the NFL, college football, NHL, boxing, UFC, and even Vegas casino games. So do not wait. Take advantage right now on all these amazing offers available for the entire 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and best way to bet on all of your favorite action. BetOnline, they're chock full of deals at betonline.ag. Check them out today. We are back on the Locked On Thunder podcast on Locked On Podcast Network, your teams every day. And now, Lu Dort. Lu Dort continued to be awesome offensively. 50% from the floor, 33% from three, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, 21 points for Lu Dort to help lead this team on offense. The sky seemingly is the limit for Lu Dort. I think that every time that people start to put a ceiling on Lu Dort, he breaks through it. So I think that we're still in this kind of cautionary period with Lu Dort. Do you really want to just kind of jump out on that limb? Who's going to be the first one to say, Lu Dort can be Kawhi Leonard? Lu Dort can be somebody in the upper echelon of this NBA and risk that tree limb being kind of flimsy and falling on your face. We're kind of in that wait and see period. I think that what's for certain is that Lu Dort has solidified himself as an NBA caliber starter on a team that can win a championship. And for an undrafted guy that started out on a 2-way deal, that is a monumental leap for him. And I'm just happy for his success. By all accounts, it couldn't have happened to a better guy from all that we know about Lu Dort. So it's just awesome to see him continue to roll offensively. But Trey Mann stole the show a lot in this game, 17 minutes, 11 shot attempts. And Mark praised that number and said that he wants him to shoot even more. And that has been what's missing from his arsenal since training camp. Even going back to just practices. Get the shots up. Shoot shots. You are a scorer. You're a shot creator. You're a shot maker. Go do your thing. Go have those Skittles at times, right? And I just think that you cannot convince me that the Thunder did not create this by sending him down to the blue. He goes to the blue. He has that 30-point night, and he gets more confident in his shot, and he does these step-back threes that create so much separation. He has that long range where he can step back 2-3 steps past the three-point line and knock down three-point shots. I think that the blue helped him a lot. And this could just be a combination of things where it's not only the blue. Of course, you don't want to give 100% credit to anything because, after all, Trey Mann's a really good basketball player. And it's just a matter of time before he kind of showed that and displayed that. This is what he does on the basketball floor. But I think that the blue helped him realize, hey, I can take shots in this league. I don't have to be as passive as I was being early on this year. I think that Trey Mann, I should say, has a lot of potential. I think that he can be a special scorer because that step back gives him such room to shoot that it kind of counteracts the size questions. There's a big deal. How can this guy get his shot up in the NBA? He's a little bit undersized. Whenever he creates that much space just by a step back and can still make the shot, the size aspect is no longer a knock on him. And he is really good in the mid-range. As he gets more creative at the basket and can score more inside, which we saw him do at Florida. So I think that we can feel confident in him doing eventually in his NBA career. It just goes that much better for him as a scorer and as a player. And I think that with Trey Mann, nobody knows what he's going to be. I think that anyone who tells you that they know for sure if he'll be an X quality of player, they're lying to you. But from the scoring potential that we've seen, from the playmaking aspect that he has off of that scoring, I think that all signs point right now to his floor being somebody that can get you buckets off the bench like a Lou Williams type of player, which is a huge compliment. If you ask NBA players to sign that dotted line right now, that I can assure you, you're going to have a Lou Williams type career. Sure, you might be giving up a bigger upside, but I'm assuring you that you're going to do no worse than Lou Williams. A lot of players would sign that line. A lot of players would sign that deal today if I can assure them their talents translate into Lou Williams. I think that's what the signs are pointing towards Trey Mann if this continues to progress. And he seems like a very hard worker, seems like a great kid. Seems like there's no reason why it wouldn't continue to progress this way for Trey Mann. Darius Baisley, another tough night tonight offensively. He's really improved defensively, which I think goes so far under the radar. I think that if he would have improved as much as he has defensively, offensively, so however you want to qualify that, let's say that you think that his jump on defense this year has been from a C+ to an A-, right? If he's, and which of course that's not the exact numbers, but I'm just giving you kind of a reference point. If you could say, okay, reverse time, and we'll start this year over again, but this time Baisley takes a step from a C+ offensive player to an A+ offensive player. If you can say that that's the leap, or C+ to A- offensive player, if that leap happens offensively, and he even has the regression defensively, we seem to have the regression offensively, right? So you just flip his skill sets, you just flip them on their head, and he's that good of an offensive player that he is a defensive player, and he's that bad of a defensive player that he's an offensive player right now. I think that fans would be fawning over how much of an improved player that he is, how much better he's gotten, how much work he's put in, how much just tangible improvements he's made. But since those improvements have come defensively, they kind of get overlooked because it's hard to quantify defense. It's hard to see it in real time, and you just see that he's missing all these shots, and you're just thinking that he's not a good basketball player. And that's what Mark has said is keeping him in the starting lineup. Mark has said that they've not thought about taking him out of the starting lineup because of the defense that he provides. They thought briefly about closing on Washington's game with Poku because just simply they thought against it because of the defense. But they thought briefly about closing the game with Poku. That, of course, went nowhere. He didn't close the game. And basically puts up 5 rebounds, 8 points, 30% from the floor, and 2 for 4 from 3. Baisley just can't figure it out offensively. And until he does, he's going to get these negative dropbacks because he's improved a lot as a defender, but he's not proved to that Lou Dort area. He's not proved and improved to that tangibly great, right? You have to really, really study him to know his strides defensively. Lou Dort, anybody can watch Lou Dort and see he's a great defender. So he's not there yet. He's also still a really good defender. And so it's just kind of is everybody wanting more about Darius Baisley? And at this point, all I can tell you is there's no point to get worked up about it. There's no point to get frustrated by it. There's no point to complain about it because the Thunder are committing to Darius Baisley this year. It's his year. He's going to be a starter. He's going to get a ton of minutes as long as he's healthy, and they're going to ride it out. And it could be much more of this. This could just be Darius Baisley, what he's shown you for 2 years now. And we could all be sitting around waiting for that Bubble Baisley to return, and it never does. He's never Bubble Baisley again. But this Thunder team has no really risk involved in waiting to see if that's true, right? Like, they're not risking anything. They're not jeopardizing anything to just ride it out. Nothing's at stake here. So if there's even a 1% chance in the people around Darius Baisley who know him the best, Sam Presti, Mark Daignault, the staff itself, that they think that he can become that Bubble Baisley again, then you might as well keep starting him. You might as well keep playing him. Because what else are you going to do? What else are you going to do? It doesn't matter. This season doesn't matter for anything other than player development, player opportunity, and maximizing that aspect of it. And so try to develop Darius Baisley because you've gotten him there defensively. You really have. Find a way to get him there offensively, and you really have something. So I hope that the Thunder can do it. I think that Baisley gets a lot of negative attention and a lot of bad rep, bad rep and kind of unnecessary hate. Hopefully he can do it offensively. He has made improvements defensively. Pokusevski, 7 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Some just chucking of threes. A nice pick and roll game with Ty Jerome that I'd like to see the Thunder exploit more. Ty Jerome's a really good playmaker. Pokusevski's a really good option for pick and rolls and pick and pops. With Ty Jerome, who's a good playmaker and a good shooter, that can really help the defense and help the offense exploit the defense in the second unit. Poku had that Euro step miss that turns into the swirl bowl put back on his second chance point, and then threw up a sidestep three, which I thought was hilarious. And Daniel Gafford had 8 blocks tonight. One of them was on Poku, so I just kind of threw that in here on the Poku segment. But Daniel Gafford was awesome at blocking shots in this game. And of course, the big Poku play was his 2-step behind the line 3-pointer, which Poku's just fun. Poku's just a joy to watch play. Kenny Hustle had a bad sprained ankle tonight, and he is out against Houston on Monday. As of the injury report, he is out tonight against the Houston Rockets. Mark made it seem pretty severe after practice on Saturday, so we'll see when the next time we see Williams is. They did play well in this game, 11 points, 5 rebounds, and assists, and a steal. The bet of the day was the Thunder +6. That obviously cashed in, but the minimal pick was SGA, and SGA did not hit a 3-pointer at all, so that did not hit. MVP of this game was Lou Dort. Next up, Tuesday, we're going to recap this game against the Houston Rockets. On Wednesday, we have a mailbag episode. I've already got a Reddit thread started on Reddit/OurThunder. Go check that out and post your comments there and questions there. You can also send them in on Twitter at Rylan_Styles or email the show lothunderpod@gmail.com. So if you want to ask a question, you have multiple ways to do so for Wednesday. Thursday, we're going to recap the Rockets game from Wednesday. And then Friday, recap the Grizzlies game from Thursday. So a lot to get into throughout this next week. Subscribe for free on all platforms, including on YouTube. And make sure you check us out every single morning for your first listen of the day. We're here for you every single morning talking Thunder basketball. So until tomorrow, be good and be good to one another.